Welcome to another awesome Coffee with Laura. And for those who don't know, I get to work as a health and life coach, which is honestly kind of the coolest job around. I'm also a personal trainer and a nutrition specialist, but I love coaching. It really helps people get what they want and change like where they're coming from to create the habits to overcome whatever obstacle, which is normally within us, that's really holding them back. And it's pretty extraordinary. So if you haven't checked it out, you should definitely check it out. But today, I'm not here to talk about coaching. I'm here to talk about habits because we hear this all the time. Habits are super useful, right? But how we think about them kind of works against us. So let's kind of start at the beginning. Why do we like habits? Because it makes life easier, right? If we have a habit, it increases the likelihood that we're going to do whatever behavior it is that we want to do. So let's use a standard that most people are familiar with, brushing your teeth. You wake up in the morning, you feel that taste in your mouth, and you start to think, oh, I need to brush my teeth. The same thing happens when you build habits other times of the day around different convenient times for you. So at nighttime, before you go to bed, if you go in bed and you're like, it's going to prompt you to want to go brush your teeth. So ultimately, habits increase our chances of building the life we want without as much mental energy. And that's really what people want. But when we think about habits, we do the thing where we want what we want and we want it now, so we're not very patient, and it kind of works against us. So we ask, does it take 21 days, which is common literature that it takes 21 days. But wait a minute. There's also literature that says it takes 60 days to build a habit. And then there's more that say it takes 100 days or even a year to build a habit. If we're asking ourselves, how long will it take to build a habit? The habit won't stick because we're not looking for the habit. We want the results and we're just being impatient. So if you say, I want to lose weight, I'm going to do all these things and I'm going to work out and blah, blah, blah. You're going to do all those things. Why? Because you want to feel however you think you're going to feel from actually doing them. Okay, I'm going to make it a habit. Just because you say that it's now going to be a habit doesn't imply the word patience. And patience is a key necessary thing everyone needs to have on their journey to being healthy, because without patience, we give up, we fail, or we set ourselves up to fail in general. So one of the other ways we set ourselves up to fail with habits, beyond just looking for the end date of it, meaning we're not truly invested in doing whatever it takes to build the lifestyle, is we try and bite off more than we can chew. We try and change everything. If you don't work out at all, they want to work out 5 days a week. If they work out for 10 minutes once a week, they're going to try 60 minutes 6 days a week. If they have been not meditating ever in their life and they expect themselves to meditate for an hour every day, probably not going to happen. We want these things for good reasons, but we need to accept that as humans, highly adaptable humans, which is a gift, we need to allow ourselves to adapt to a building habit as well. So before I even answer the question of how long, the first place we need to start is what is actually realistic and doable that could fit into my current lifestyle and could help. So let's say you want to start reflecting on your day and understanding how you process information so you can improve how you represent yourself. Okay, let's just say that's it. If you haven't been doing it, just trying to do it once a week, that's a habit. Yes, habits are easier to commit to when they're every single day, but if this is something abnormal, trying to bite off a huge chunk is just going to work against you. And then what happens? We stop doing it and then we're like, oh, what's wrong with me? Why did I do that? And then we just get on the shame cycle and make it harder to build the habit to begin with. We create these self-fulfilling prophecies where our limiting beliefs creates what we ultimately experience and we don't follow through with things because we're impatient. So if you want to build habits, stop thinking about it. Literally. So what I mean by that is not literally stop thinking about it, but kind of literally. You don't want to think about the end date of it. You're not looking for, okay, when does this feel easy? When is this natural? That's focusing on the pain that you experience by doing the uncomfortable, healthy action that you want to build your life to feel however you want it to feel. If you focus on pain or discomfort, your brain's gonna be like, I don't want to do that. Let's hide that from her. However, if you focus on the positive reward you get from doing the thing and make it a small thing that fits into your lifestyle without a huge change, your brain's gonna be like, okay, that wasn't so bad. Maybe I could do more of that. And then you do it again. And it's like, okay, that felt kind of nice. All right. And then it starts building and building. But with habits, you have to wait for the genuine desire for more. I know we want what we want and we want it now. I'm there too. I feel it. I get it. But just not how the world works. When we think about habits as looking for the end date, we're not going to actually succeed in building the habit because we're so focused on not doing it or not having to think about it that we're already thinking about not thinking about it. Does that make sense? What we need to do is think in a way of, wow, this habit really enhances my life. Oh, wow, I handled this conflict with my boss totally differently. Oh, wow, I learned a lot when I meditated at night before I went to bed. Look at that. Looking at the positive and talking to yourself so that you can actually feel what it is. That's how you get your brain to work with you. And ultimately, brain likes positivity. So if you do that, then your brain is going to be like, let's keep building on this thing. And it literally creates genuine desire. And dopamine, which you've heard me talk about before, is a motivational hormone. So if you're motivated to keep seeing the positive benefits of whatever the healthy habit is, you're literally going to get a dopamine high when you do it. So the question can't be how long, because it's different for every single person. But if you ask how long, you're already working against yourself. If you're biting off more than you can chew, you're already working against yourself. Instead, focus your mind on the benefit this habit has for your life. It's okay not wanting to do it sometimes, but not wanting to do things isn't a good reason not to do things at the same time. Like, I don't want to pay my taxes, but I understand and respect that I have to pay my taxes, like all of you wonderful people. But just because we don't want to go to the gym or we don't want to cook a healthy meal, the question I like to ask myself is, what would future Laura think? Which decision would future Laura be proud of? And let that guide my behavior. And the last thing I want to comment about when it comes to habits is, if you're trying to build habits because you're not accepting who you are, you're also still working against yourself. If you want to accept who you are and build habits, it's going to be a lot easier. And when I say acceptance, I'm not saying approving of everything. I'm saying not being in denial about it all. That's all. So you got all the tips. Start small. We have the New Year's right around the corner. So make sure that whatever habits you are wanting, instead of just saying, I want to do this, ask yourself why 3 times. Why do I want to do it? Blah, 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 blah. Why? Blah, 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 blah. Like, answer the why for the following response of why. And then let that answer guide you so that you can truly build the lifestyle you want. But let's not forget, it is a lifestyle, and life isn't really going anywhere. Let go of the clock, work with your body and your brain, and you're going to make it a lot easier. And if you haven't already heard, I have a whole program that makes this way easier called Get to Know the Real You. And I strongly encourage you to check it out so that you can learn even more about how to build habits, how to work with yourself, how to accept yourself, how to love yourself, and so much more. But as always, I thank you for joining Coffee with Laura, and I look forward to connecting with you more next week.